Hello viewers, welcome to this video on Speak English Naturally, 4 important steps. Many of us struggle to speak a second language, but we don't have such a struggle when it comes to our mother tongue. The reason is because we learn our mother tongue naturally. This is called language acquisition. In the term of, language learning, we call it acquisition. That is to acquire the language, to get it naturally without making an effort to learn the language. When it comes to the second language, very often, second or third or fourth, we start by learning to read and write, to identify the alphabet, to learn meanings from the dictionary, to learn grammar from a grammar book, and so on. That is not a natural process. That is the process of learning by looking at books. So when I say learn to speak English naturally, and I will give you 4 important steps, we are trying to repeat the process of childhood learning of the mother tongue. If you observe any child learning the mother tongue, after the child is a few months old, you will find exactly these processes. And that is the process, if you follow, you will learn excellent English. Watch the video till the end so that you get all the detailed explanation of the 4 steps which I am going to talk about. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Also, share it with people, as many people as you know, because they might be eager to learn good English. Just now I was speaking to an elderly colleague of mine. She's in her 70s. She used to teach Hindi when I used to teach English in the university. So she said, I want to learn English also. In her late 70s, she wants to learn English. So you can see, we can learn at any time. It's not necessary. But the process should be natural. That is what I'm trying to say. So share it widely, like the videos if you think they are helping you, because many of you are putting it in the comment box saying you're helped immensely by watching the videos I'm preparing for you every day. So please do not forget to like, and then send your comments. If there are questions, you get answers regularly. If there are certain suggestions, I'm following those and making videos for you. So here now, let us begin with our 4 steps. Step number 1 is that a child learns by imitating whatever the child listens to. You will find on the channel the story of Helen Keller. Helen Keller was born without the ability to hear. Therefore, she couldn't hear any sound and she couldn't learn to speak. So she was deaf and she was dumb. She couldn't hear, she couldn't speak. Unfortunately, she was also blind. She couldn't see. That story you can see for your motivation. But then what I'm trying to tell you with this example is that learning by imitation is the best way of learning. How will you do this? First, you have to listen to the sounds of a language. You see a small child says "mer" first. "Mer" is the easiest sound because the air comes out of the nose. Every language you find that the sound "mer" or the sound "ma" is very, very important. Then the sound "per." "Per" is also very easy because it comes from the mouth and it comes easily by closing your lips and opening it. You hear the child laughing, you hear the child crying, you will find that the child is imitating the sounds which the child is listening. These are just small babies, 1 or 2 months old, making sounds. And then you grow up slowly, after 10 months or 12 months, the child is able to pronounce words. Now, this process takes the child years, but we don't have years. What the child needs 6 to 8 months to, just listen, we can finish in a day or two. That is, if we do concentrated practice. If we can do this for a little time, listen to the sounds of English, listen to the pronunciation of English, listen to, podcasts or listen to videos, lectures, songs, movies, we just get familiar with the rhythm of the language, the sound of the language. The language rhythm is different from your mother tongue. Therefore, you need to learn the rhythm. Just like the musician tunes the musical instrument while playing some music, similarly, you need to tune your own vocal cords to speak different languages differently. For this, listening and imitating is most important. So that is our first step. Now, unless we are careful in our listening and repeating, we are not able to improve. Please remember that real improvement comes when you listen regularly, when you listen to it with full concentration, exactly as the child does. The child listens to every sound. You must remember that if there are many people at home, that child learns to speak much faster. There are not many people at home, the child is left all alone, the child doesn't learn to speak. These days, children are made to watch videos, animation, etc. with a sound. Then the child picks up exactly that language because the child constantly hears. Therefore, step number 2 is you have to repeat whatever you are hearing. Repetition is very important. This is called shadowing. I've given you a video. I'll make more videos on this. But I have given you exercises of shadowing for a very long time. I did not tell you that you have to do it, but I said, repeat after me. There is a video on identifying things many months back. There I showed you those things. I used some sentences which I asked you to repeat. When we repeat words or sentences, we find that our English is becoming better. This is the best way of improving because by repeating, we are learning the language. The language is clearer to us as we continue to repeat. You might think that it is very boring to repeat. Then what do? I have given you some motivational stories. Don't bother about repeating. Read the story 5 times. It is there in slides, so it is there on your screen. You read it 5 times. While it is going, switch off the sound and you read aloud. When you have no sound, my voice is not there. You are reading it aloud. You are actually repeating it. Record that voice and compare it by putting on the audio. You compare it to my reading and your reading. When you start doing this, when you take up this kind of repetition, you find that you're able to use the language better. Step number 2 might take a little time for some people. Some of you might not need to repeat a lot. You might be able to manage with a little. But if you have problems, if you feel after repeating for a week or 2 that you are not confident enough, please continue longer. Or if you are devoting 10 minutes per day, Make it 20 minutes or make it half an hour. Increase the time, increase the duration, be regular, because if you repeat today and repeat after a week, there is absolutely no use. You must do it every day. This is called cumulative effect. That is, we build one on top of the other. Suppose somebody wants to build a bridge. They say we will build in the middle first. It's not possible. You have to begin from the one end and go to the other end. That is how communication is. Unless you build continuously, you cannot reach the other end. You can't say that I will go into the middle. So repeat regularly, repeat every day. Even if you planning to repeat for a week, your plan is only 1 week of repetition. One step, 1 week. So first step is imitation. Then second step is repetition. Then imitation would mean listen and absorb and then start. And repetition, once you imitate, it's not enough to do it once. Somebody has said, the food is delicious. Now delicious is a new word for you. So you go on saying, first you imitate it. Food is delicious. Means very tasty, very good food. Then you say, the sambar is delicious, the pizza is delicious, the sandwiches are delicious, your birthday cake is delicious. Now see how you are repeating? You are not repeating the same sentence. You are repeating further sentences. That leads us to the third step, and that is speak to yourself. When you are learning, when you want to learn naturally, speak to yourself. Have you seen small children sitting and talking to themselves? Of course, these days children are so busy with the technology. But if you see a child who's growing up naturally, learning language naturally, that child sits, imagines that there are many friends around and starts speaking to all those friends. You find that the child is learning to speak naturally. The child is becoming familiar with the language. So when you start speaking to yourself, you remember the sounds which you heard, you imitated, the words which you heard and you learned, the repetition which you did by using the same word many times. You say difficult, somebody says difficult. Somebody says, this is not difficult. Then how will you say, this is easy? You have to think. That is where your speaking to yourself matters. If it is not difficult, then it is easy. Somebody has told me this is not difficult. That means it is easy. Then you think of all the antonyms which you can think of. You say this is good. No, this is bad. So good and bad are antonyms. You say, this is tall. You see something and say, this is tall. She is very tall. Then you say another person and say, she is very short. Then you have got antonym, short and tall. You are speaking to yourself. You're not speaking to anybody else now. You're speaking to yourself. Suppose you make this into a habit. Every evening you sit down and speak for 5 minutes about the happenings of the day. You can say, today 2 of my friends came home. Since they came at 12 o'clock, I asked them to stay for lunch. There was some lunch, we all shared it. My friends appreciated the lunch. Before leaving, they invited me to their house for lunch next week. Now see, you are practicing with yourself. The friends have gone. They finished inviting you. They ate lunch. Everything happened. Your daily activity you described. You have something else which has happened to you. Today I was standing in a queue. I saw somebody jumping the queue. I did not know how to say anything, but I felt bad that somebody was going ahead of me when I was waiting for such a long time. Then one person came and said, "Please do not go and stand there. Please do not break the queue. Come back to your place because others are waiting for a longer time." I felt very happy because I couldn't say it. Somebody said. That person looked a little upset, but that person went back and stood in the place where that person was standing earlier. So what did you do? You described something which happened really. You're not telling this to anybody. You are just practicing your English naturally. This step number 3, you can do it every day, all the time, whenever you have free time. Just before going to sleep, you are counting, when sleep will come. Spend 2 minutes recollecting what happened in your mind, thinking in English and making sentences in English. Now, step number 4, speaking naturally. Step number 4 is where you start thinking in English and speaking to others. Till now you spoke to yourself. Now you are going to make sentences in your mind. Not, think and then frame the sentences and speak to yourself silently in your mind or loudly in front of a mirror. You're not going to do that. Instead, what are you going to do? You're going to change your thought processes in such a way that your natural thought process does not remain only your mother tongue. This does not mean that you will forget your mother tongue. I know people who have been outside their state or their country for more than 40 years and they speak their mother tongue flawlessly. They have no problems in speaking their mother tongue spontaneously without mistakes. They never forgot their mother tongue, but they can think in English now. All thoughts come to them in English because they have been practicing for 40 years, for 50 years. So you can imagine how it works. One language does not delete another language. It's not a file on computer, You put one and one more gets deleted. That's not what is happening here. Your mind has endless GB of space. You store your mother tongue in one file, you store English in another file. No problem at all. So, start thinking. There's one entire video on how to think in English. But here I'm just telling you, this is step number 4. The last of the steps to speak naturally. If you continue to think in your mother tongue, you will never speak naturally. So stop thinking in your mother tongue, start thinking in English, and then start speaking with others without worrying about mistakes. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Continue to speak. If somebody corrects you, don't get angry. Accept that correction, check up if it is right, and continue. If somebody makes fun of you by saying, "Oh, look at this person speaking such terrible English," say thank you with a polite smile. Don't get angry. Because if somebody tells you there is something wrong with you, that person is your best friend. If somebody tells you you are excellent, you're very good, oh, you are the best, no use. It doesn't help us to improve. In order to improve, we need somebody who tells us how to improve. Finding fault, finding mistakes, correcting our mistakes, laughing at us, or getting angry with what we say because we are making so many mistakes. These are signs of our friends in disguise. Disguise means hidden. So they are our friends, but we cannot make out that they are our friends. We feel, oh, they are our enemies. They are so terrible. They are stopping us from learning English. But that's not true. Step number 4 is Go out into the world and start speaking. Check what response you get of your speaking. When you carry out a conversation, when you introduce or you contribute to a conversation, check the reaction of others. That will help you to learn English naturally. Do this and you will benefit immensely. All the best and thank you.